Mike McCarthy is not even close to being on the hot seat, Breach. I think he's availed himself nicely through no small part of Cooper Rush acting like he's Dak Prescott, sort of 4-1. I think Cooper Rush, the law of averages, caught up with Cooper Rush on Sunday night, and he will now take his place on the bench. He's going to get his gold watch. Thank you for your service, and sayonara.
Yeah, speaking of laws, Wilson, Sunday night seemed more like Murphy's Law for Cooper Rush than the law of averages.
By the way, Breach is coming to us from a bathtub. I don't know what that little joke is, but you can't hear him because it takes his mic about 15 seconds to get warmed up.
What?
So, Breach, explain in 10 seconds what that stupid thing is you just said.
You don't record from a bathtub?
Could go wrong. Would go wrong.
Yeah, you don't know Murphy's Law?
Yeah, I do, but I don't know if that qualifies for Cooper Rush.
He threw 3 interceptions in the first half after not turning, or in the game after not turning the ball over a single time. His luck ran out. It's Wilson's same statement, except.
Oh, I see. Okay. I only heard like bits and pieces.
CD Lamb.
Yeah, no, okay. We agree. I just couldn't hear you. It's like every third word because your microphone was Brinsoning, as we like to say in the business.
Oh, it's just it's breaching. So don't call it Brinsoning. It's breaching. Every podcast he used to talk for 10 seconds to get his microphone going. We forgot to do. He didn't do it.
In Breach's defense, for the first time in human history, Breach, Brinson rushed us to go live, so you were not prepared for what was about to happen.
Unbelievable.
Breachbot unprepared for.
And also, this is Brinson's backup equipment. When he complains about something, they send it to me, and I'm stuck using it.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So anyway, Eagles 26, Cowboys 17. Dominant first half for Philadelphia. Looks like they were going to crush the Cowboys. Really impressive third quarter by Dallas and Cooper Rush, who didn't have everything go wrong because clearly he had some things go right. Got him back in the game, got him within 3 points. And then the Eagles, I believe they go down to score a touchdown first and then get the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson interception. Was that right?
They were up 17-0, then 73 at the half is all I know. But what I want to talk about specifically.
It was 20-7.
Yes.
Yes. I mean.
Specifically, do we know if we're going to point fingers at Mike McCarthy or maybe even Kellen Moore? So on the, I think it's midway through the second quarter, 14-0, maybe 17-0 at that point. CD Lamb gets a first down. They mark the ball a good yard short for no clear reason on their own 35-ish. And for reasons that remain a mystery, Mike McCarthy, Kellen Moore, has the offense rush to the line of scrimmage so they can run a play that involves Cooper Rush throwing the worst incompletion you could imagine, as opposed to just challenging the ball, which would have been overturned. That, to me, was not the turning point, but a play that stuck out as something incredibly stupid and something we would usually make fun of Mike McCarthy about. That's not why they lost this football game, but those are the type of things that drive me crazy, and I'm a middle of the road observer, and I would imagine Cowboys fans were not happy about it either.
Well, the thing was, Mike McCarthy has been such a good coach all year. I mean, we ripped him last year, but he has been coach of the year material through the first 6 weeks, especially winning these games with Cooper Rush, and for that kind of a bonehead play to happen. And that had to come from him because Kellen Moore is not going to be out there calling a fourth down play unless the Cowboys are going for it on fourth down. The only person that has this final say on that is going to be the head coach. And so why are you either wait to give your coaching staff a chance to see if, in fact, CeeDee Lamb did have the first down, or you say, hey, ref, can I get a measurement? And so you play the old stall game. So they measure, and then that gives your coaching staff time to see if you got a first down. The worst option here, the only bad option, is rush to the line and run the next play because it's fourth down because they messed up the spot. And the Cowboys made that happen. It was unbelievable. Like you said, Ryan, it was such a ugly first half that might not have been a huge thing, but it felt like it was pretty big because if the Cowboys still have the ball at their own 36 and they were down 14-9 at that point, they just go down and get a field goal or a touchdown. It's 14-3, it's 14-7. And then maybe it's a completely different game.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that checks out. They also could have gotten a Noah Brown touchdown catch. It was overturned on replay after he only got 1 foot in twice, not 2 feet in, which is kind of an interesting argument.
And no butt cheeks.
Yeah, if you get two of the same foot in, should that not count? Tap it twice?
No, that doesn't count.
Obviously not. I'm kidding. Yeah, Brown.
I say.
Anyway, look, the Cowboys are 4-2. Cooper Rush finally had the game. Now everybody can shut up about the Dak Prescott thing. This was going to happen at some point. It was just a matter of how long they could string this out to get Dak fully healthy and get him back on the field. And
By the way, sorry, B-Mac made a good point in HQ a moment ago. 4-1 is fantastic. We'll all take that with Cooper Rush. But you're taking 4-1 with Dak Prescott had he been 100% healthy as well, right?
I'm taking Dak over Cooper Rush.
If he had gone 4-1 in the last 5 games, everyone's ecstatic as a Cowboys fan is what I'm asking you.
Yeah, look, like Cooper Rush, you signed for 4-2 right now all day long, coming out of knowing what you know about Dak Prescott's injury.
No, listen to me. If Dak Prescott starts every game is completely healthy, you're ecstatic at going 4-1 over the last 5 games.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. Like that so this is like, don't be angry about tonight's game as Breech.
You get a free roll. It's like a free roll for Cowboys fans. You could easily be like 0-6.
Right.
Granted, the defense is really good, and I'm not saying that the Cowboys are an 0-6 caliber team. It's just that when you lose your starter, particularly on a roster where the offensive line has seen some attrition. They love to feed Zeke Elliott. They don't have the depth at wide receiver that they used to a few years ago. It would be very easy for the Cowboys to have lost a bunch of games with Cooper Rush under center. They found a way to win 4 games to start the season. You're 4-2, 6 weeks in, and you're going to be getting Dak Prescott back sooner than later, probably next week, based on the fact that how Cooper Rush played, although the Eagles defense is pretty good. I don't think you can be that upset if you're Dallas or Dallas fans. Like anybody complaining about it, like you don't understand.
They're living in the wrong simulation.
Right. You are way ahead of the curve on where you should be based on the timeline of events that have occurred for this team and for over the first 6 weeks of the season.
I will say this though, still, despite all the good fortune that's come their way, I won't call it luck, they remain 3rd in the division Breech because the Giants are so incredibly good.
Yeah, I think they're fine with that too.
Yeah.
They already have a win over the Giants.
Any concerns? So like we talked about the Eagles' second half issues and sort of how they struggled. Obviously, they closed us out 26-17. But again, it got to 20-17, and it really did feel like there was a chance that they could lose the game to Dallas, which would have been devastating given that they had a 20-3 lead at halftime. And I just wonder, do we take anything away from the fact that they allowed Dallas to get back in the game in the third quarter?
I'll just say this quickly, and then Breech, you can answer. This game felt differently because they lost Lane Johnson. And then once they lost Lane Johnson, it changed everything in the second half in terms of how the defense was able to get after Jalen Hurts. I think the Eagles ran 9 plays on 2 drives in the third quarter. We obviously saw what the Cowboys offense was able to do. And then they settled down in the fourth quarter. The Eagles did and scored that touchdown.
Yeah, and I think that when the Cowboys cut it to 2017, that next possession kind of became, all right, if the Eagles are for real, they're going to put their foot on the Cowboys' throat, drive down the field, get a touchdown, and just put this game out of reach. And that's exactly what they did. I mean, I think 12 or 13 play drive, 75 yards. And then, so it was like Cowboys fans had 3 minutes of excitement where they're like, oh my gosh, we're within 3 points. We could win this game. And then the Eagles just deflated that whole thing. They put the old pin in the balloon and just popped everything. And
what I agree with you completely on the Lane Johnson thing. Also worth noting that because that happened early in the third quarter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And about the same time, with 11:20 left in the third quarter, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson hurt his hand. And so those two things, I'm not saying that they're like the linchpin. I mean, they're very important players, but Lane Johnson going out and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson going out for much of the third period. Micah Parsons was, Dan Quinn really started to utilize Micah Parsons on the right side of the Eagles, attacking on the left side of the Cowboys defense, I guess. But dropped him in coverage against Dallas Goedert after sitting him on a blitz against the backup right tackle. And you could tell that it was a shift in the Lane Johnson thing and the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson thing caused each side of the ball for the Eagles to take a step back in terms of their performance. It was easier to get across the middle against that Eagles defense, and you could attack Jalen Hurts from the left side of the defense. So yeah, maybe that's it. But I mean, and good for them for correcting and getting it back together. And CJJ came back on the field. Lane did not come back. He's in concussion protocol, I believe. Just a reminder that Lane Johnson's an awesome player and a really important part of what the Eagles did.
Yeah, that's why that offense changed when Jack Driscoll came in to play right tackle. And that was pretty much it. Gardner-Johnson came back in, had another interception to the touchdown that would have been that Breech previously mentioned, the CeeDee Lamb that was underthrown when Cooper Rush was begging for a hit to the face. He didn't get hit to the face. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a hallmark of a good team. And they've sputtered in the second half. in previous weeks. This felt differently just because of the Lane Johnson thing and the other injuries. Landon Dickerson went out for a while as well late in the game. So the good news is they have their bye. Hopefully they can get everyone healthy, and 2 weeks from now they'll be ready to roll. Their defense is phenomenal. Their offense is steady as she goes. It's incredibly balanced. They can obviously run the ball, and they can it's sort of cliche to say that the running game travels, but they ran at Micah Parsons all night, and they used Micah Parsons' athleticism against them because they have a pretty good athlete in Jalen Hurts who can run the RPO almost to perfection, and they let Micah Parsons decide where he was going to go, and then Jalen Hurts decided what he was going to do off of that, and it was pretty effective.
Yeah. That was the Cowboys' offensive game plan, or the Eagles' offensive game plan was amazing. The fact that they kind of just went at Micah Parsons, and the Cowboys just had no clue what to do in the first half. And granted, Dan Quinn, they did adjust a little bit and slow him down the second half, but it was just like the Cowboys looked like they had never seen the type of football the Eagles were playing. Like the Eagles had invented a new sport.
Sorry, I'm trying to Google these Spanish insults being thrown at me in the chat. Very interesting.
You wouldn't have to Google it if you knew Spanish.
Boom! Oh, that's a hardcore.
Or can you explain what it means, Breech?
Spanish stuff. No,
Which
because
one?
we're focused on the podcast. We're not.
Yeah, I'm not
squirreling it, looking up at comments. Hey,
I'm
Billy, let me ask you.
Squirreling. I'm interacting with the users.
While Brinson learns a little Espanol, let me ask you a question, Billy.
Billy's got to wait on the Eagles. That's right. There we go.
Yeah. Hey, are you at all concerned that Nick Sirianni's getting a little too cute, yelling at opposing players on the sidelines, telling them the F off, and then strolling through the tunnel on the way back up, yelling things like, how about the Eagles? Or is that just Philly bravado and either like it or F off?
I mean, I kind of think that that's who he is. He's been like that ever since he got here. And it kind of took us aback a little bit because we thought he was being fake at first. As a,
That's
you know,
right.
as a
When he
team.
wore
Like,
the
we
Iverson
did.
jersey.
We thought it was like, all right, you're doing a little too much, like win games, especially when we went 1-5 to start the season, like win games.
Right.
But now, like, we've seen that, this is just who he is as a person. And I mean, I think the guys really galvanized around him. You saw Fletcher Cox in the background there, like showing support for his coach. Like he shows a lot of support for his guys, and they return the favor. So, I mean, it shows on the field. Everybody's in tune, everybody's in sync, and that's kind of what you want with a team that's like has Super Bowl aspirations. You want everybody on the same accord. That's kind of what we looked like in 2017 with Doug Peterson. So, I mean, it's exciting to see, but there's some questions definitely popped up today. So.
Hey, why? Somebody O Plus asked in the chat. How about that unnecessary 2-point conversion at the last TD? What was?
They
what
wanted
was
to get
that?
to 11 as opposed to leaving it to 10. So
I
mean,
don't understand why you don't run the ball. Like, but I
they
mean,
did.
like,
They ran the ball on the 2-point conversion, did
no, the QB sneak. Like, why are you? If you're going to
right.
take the penalty, okay, 1 yard. You just went for it on 4th down earlier in that half, and you've been unstoppable. You're like 13 for 16 on 3rd and 4th and 1s.
And you're doing
Who's
the
your
old
quarterback?
doing the old rugby thing again. It's worked every single
Well,
time.
I don't understand why you just wouldn't kick to go to 10 and then you can't lose with a field goal and a touchdown.
I didn't get
Well,
it either,
I mean, 9 or 10. What's the difference?
Well, if you have
There's a
9
huge
points,
difference.
there's a huge difference. If they get a touchdown and a field goal, you lose.
Oh yeah. So I think they were unconcerned about. My guess. I mean, I don't know. I didn't care one with the other. I didn't see what the Ben bot said, but my guess is that they were unconcerned about Cooper Rush. But yeah, I would have been fine with kicking too. I guess I didn't put much thought into it at that point.
Look, I gotta say this before I get off. It's been a good week for Philadelphia.
All right, get out of here. Get out of
Yeah.
here.
No. We took care
Pull
of
up your
Brinson.
pants, take off the phone, be a man.
We took care of Brinson's Atlanta Braves
Oh,
on Friday. We took care of the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. And now we got the Sixers in Boston on Tuesday to close out the week. I'll be there. I'll be supporting my guys. So,
I'll look at
Philly
you.
to the day I die. Philly versus everybody, man. Philly versus everybody.
That's right. My Eagles versus everybody, Billy. All right.
Stop.
Thanks for weighing in.
Yeah, see what happened.
Okay. That's right. Jalen Hurts, one of just a few to have 6. Wait, what was that? Go back to that. Anyway, well, we'll move on. 6 passing touchdowns and 6 rushing touchdowns in team's first 6 games since 1970. Jalen Hurts this year, Kyler Murray 2020, Cam Newton is a rookie in 2011, and then Cordell Stewart in 1997. Yes, another point made there about the Eagles really quickly. Maher missed that field goal. It would have cut it to 6 because Sirianni went for 2, And if that had happened, then the Cowboys would have covered in this game and not Philly. As noted, like people were like, it wasn't mentioned on the broadcast. You know who would have mentioned it?
Al Michaels.
Al Michaels would have brought it up immediately. Oh, that's a big one for some people out there. Do you know who you are?